See, for me, the biggest issue, the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria in particular is power. Okay, with increase in the power resource, many sectors of our society, people like you, entrepreneurs, can run and provide solutions for people. Okay, until that particular infrastructure of energy is fixed, many things cannot be done. Okay, now,
Ekene, I'm sorry to disagree with that, with you
okay,
on that.
okay, oh, very
I
good.
think that the greatest problem we have is our people, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
People knowing what to do and not doing it. I'll tell you about 3 communities in Niger State, right? I'm not going to mention, but these 3 communities decided, you know what, we're going to take this issue in our hands and provide power to ourselves.
Okay.
And so they went in partnership with a sustainable energy company, gave them land, and told them, in exchange, have a partnership. 30% of revenue from these deals, you'd use it to build schools, hospital, and for us, 70% you can keep. And they gave them land, and so this energy company took that land and mounted solar panels, like massive landmass of solar panels, and then connected it and turned it into a grid. And they started to sell light at very, 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 very low cost for the communities. And I think this is the 3rd year of that pilot program. The community has not done anything. Now see how people took it into their hands to solve that problem, Ekene. Imagine, right, if a lot more people decided, you know what, let's show the government what's possible, right? And solve this. A lot of people, I know that, like I said earlier, there needs to be a handshake. But that handshake doesn't have to be led by the government. People can also lead these handshakes because people are the ones in government, right? So if people talk to people, like I would normally tell some of my colleagues and say, bad things happen when people don't talk to people, right? So when people talk to people and get people to act right by people, right, then a lot of work will be done.
See, Tracy, can you see me smiling?
I like that. Yeah.
Do you know why I'm smiling? Because you are quoting my own philosophy to me.
I like. Okay. So we're on the same page.
I see. I totally agree what you just said, but the still the power infrastructure is not there. Okay, you just told me it's possible if people decide, and I agree absolutely. Now, I have brought this up before with someone, and one of the things that person told me, I don't know how true it is that the law in our country doesn't allow states on their own to
generate power.
Power, yes. That if you generate power, you must feed it into the national grid.
No, but not with solar, right? Not with all other sources of power, right? Not at the moment, right now. There's no law that states that, right? So I'm going to go and get an inverter. I don't need to talk to any state government that, I'm going to buy an inverter, right? I'm going to buy a solar panel. I don't need to tell anybody anything, right? And I don't think we should do that because those things are renewable energy, right? That you can get from anywhere. I don't think I need to tell government that I want to use sun to do something, right? But in this, for example, like the Nigerian Startup Park, this was a partnership between the government and private sector people, right? And different people in the technology and business ecosystem coming
Yeah.
together. So let me tell you what that took. That took someone in business going to see someone in the office, right? And say, we need this done, talk to it. And the person says, oh, I'm not doing it. And then the person goes and calls someone else and say, who do you know here? And they go, and they go, and they go till we got our result. If we want the issue of power solved, someone has to talk to someone, right?
Okay.
And the only way that can happen is if that someone who they're talking to someone has understood the purpose that I'm going there to turn something that's more of like a curse on a country for years, that we don't have power. It is that a group of people decide that we're not going to be content with mediocrity. We're not going to be content with just hand me downs. We're not going to be content with just anything. That we're going to strive for excellence and decide that, Nigeria has got to have power and give ourselves a timeline and go at it until it is done. Like I
I agree.
say,
See,
the
I agree.
government and every other stakeholder surrounding this whole power issue are still people. And
Okay.
if
Now,
people
now,
don't talk
now,
to
now the
people,
other
something
other
happens.
issue, the other challenge when it comes to power is that there is a entrenched what's it called now? That people who has been making loads of money, okay, have been making loads of money selling diesel, selling petrol, selling generator, okay, and is that personal, selfish, personal interest not to let these things work. See, I tell my younger guests that I don't believe that anybody in Nigeria who was born in the 80s, okay, has ever lived in Nigeria with 24 hours of power. Okay. I was lucky. I wasn't born, I was born before the 1980s. So we used to have 24 hours of power. Okay. But from the 80s, it was gone. Okay. Now, what we're talking about is that once we are able to solve the problem of power, a lot of other things will be just like that, just happen. See, our country has immense, immense, what's it called now?
Potentials, right?
Abilities,
And
okay?
capacities, right?
Capacity to do wonderful things.
Ekene, the minister of power, right, has children. I want you to understand that we need to hold ourselves by higher standards, right?
Yes.
All these people who are not doing what they need to do, they have family members, right? But you see, like I said to you, when people don't talk to people, things spoil, right? But so when my brother goes into power, right, and he's the minister of power, instead of me saying to my brother and say, in fact, let me tell you how bad it is. I will say to my brother, if you finish 4 years in that office, right, and you do not at least attempt to solve the power problem, you will be banned from coming home. You will be, yes, you will literally be cast out. That's how serious it is, right? Because it's purpose. Remember that this isn't a joke.
Yes.
That is a lifelong purpose that you have been put here for such a time as this, right? So you were not, you being here is not a mistake. You've been called to something
Tell
higher.
me, what's the name of the former governor of Lagos State?
Fashola, Babatunde
Fashola,
Fashola. Yes,
right? When he came,
yes.
when he was appointed a minister of what, right? He said,
It works, yeah.
yes, that before 4 years,
He'll
said
do
this,
it.
yeah. How well is he doing?
Well, I think that he got into it with all the excitement and the willpower to be able to solve it, right? But he got into that muck and found out that, well, these are murky waters that you have to be careful with transversing. But because everybody has their personal agenda
Yeah.
and it's not about purpose, when a cause is not about people, it's about someone, it's already failed, right? If he walked in there saying there are millions, hundreds of millions of people who are depending on me to solve this problem so that their lives will be better, Fashola would rather die than leave that seat without fulfilling purpose. One of the greatest prayers I pray, Ekene, is that when I die empty. And people say that a lot, and they say, "Oh, die empty, die empty." No, what I mean by die empty means that there is nothing in me that was left undone. That if I didn't die, I couldn't have been able to do anything more because I've done all that I could do. And so this is a mantra that I think a lot of people need to, swallow and keep regurgitating it and understand that if you have been sent somewhere or you've been given a role of service, regardless of whether you're an ISIS member, if you've been given a role to serve, right? It means that you have to serve people and not your personal agenda. And let me tell you why I had to go to the extreme of saying ISIS member. An ISIS member is a human being too. If that member was taken out of that situation and put in another situation and given the baton of service and say, serve in this capacity, he will forget his personal agenda of vendetta and choose the higher calling, which is to the service of humanity. The United States, what's that agreement? There's an agreement that they have that they call it
with who?
Like their constitution. They say we the United States, right?
Yeah, we the people.
Yes. They literally said that they hold themselves, right, to the highest standard, right? Saying that, and that's what I'm saying, that we don't hold ourselves to that high standard, right? And that's why when I hear people say, "Oh, patriotic Nigerian," I don't think that patriotic Nigerian no reach two for Nigeria, right? Maybe it's me and one other person, right? Because I've been going around states doing state adoption, literally unpaid work. Left the business that paid me to go to states to tell them that get ready to build a legislative system, a structure that supports you getting investment in, right? Don't be dependent on any, build a structure that helps you build your own. Let entrepreneurs be the ones that solve the greatest problems in your state. That way you're solving problems, but also still generating revenue. I went round yesterday. I got back in by 2:30 a.m. Right, this morning. I got in this morning. My car blew top gasket, overheated. I did not know. I was in the middle of Kano. I don't know the place. I was in the middle of the bush, Ekene, at 10 a.m. at 10 p.m. I want you to understand that this is a call to service to more than just yourself, right? And so when you tell me, I can tell you 10 different things infrastructurally that are wrong, but the bottom line is people need to talk with people.
I agree.
And people need to work with people.
Tracy, I agree absolutely. Okay, but like you said, we have a lot of work to do I don't want to use to convince. Say we need to show other people what is possible. Okay. See, for me, I talk to a lot of young Africans, and one of the things I think is holding the younger generation to adopt this purpose-driven life that you have adopted is that they have bought into victimhood. Okay. See, so instead of them to think about what can I do, what they talk about is that what is holding them back. And whenever they think about what is holding them back, they point fingers to other people. They never look at themselves and say, what am I doing that is not allowing me to move to the next level? Okay, they point fingers to other people. And once you continue pointing the finger outward, you will not move, because the person you're pointing fingers to is not going to come to you and say, yes, I agree. I am the one holding you back. I will stop holding you back. No, they won't do that. So once you don't take the responsibility on yourself, then you have a lot of struggle to come out from that state. So yeah,